This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 17 in the National Football League. Seattle Seahawks chasing the very elusive #1 overall seed in the NFC conference. One more win will achieve that goal of being the #1 seed in the NFC conference and lock up the NFC West division. The only thing standing in their way is a win over the very scrappy and athletic St. Louis Rams. I love watching these two teams lock horns because I know I'm in for a defensive treat, especially when St. Louis matches up against Seattle, because Russell Wilson doesn't struggle versus many teams. But the one team that seems to be his kryptonite are these St. Louis Rams. Now, earlier in the season, he had a damn good game against the Rams, but the Rams won the game. He rushed for over 100 yards. He threw for over 300 yards. You say, hey, he doesn't always struggle with them, and that may be true, but when he is in Seattle, something about this Rams defense just makes him cringe. And normally when he plays against St. Louis, he just struggles. And there's a reason for it. You want to just say, oh, you know, this team just knows him. Well, no, that's not it, because Arizona knows him, because San Francisco knows him, but he doesn't always struggle against those teams. He struggles against St. Louis because it's like looking in the mirror. The only thing holding St. Louis back as a football team is their quarterback situation. If they had a good quarterback, this is a postseason ready football team. And I love watching them play against Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is a guy that wants to create from anywhere on the field, not just inside the pocket, but he loves to get outside. He loves to create from outside the pocket. He loves when plays break down, because that's when he's at his best. It was funny watching him in the first half of this game look to get out of the pocket. I mean, he looked like, man, where do I go? Where do I go? I want to get out. I want to get out. And they had him caged in like a rabbit looking to escape back into the wild. He wanted to get out of the pocket, and there was nowhere for him to go. There was too much athleticism on the field for the St. Louis Rams. And I don't know if people understand just how good this St. Louis Rams defense really is. But if they get the proper stage, and the proper stage is the right help from the offense, if they get consistent help from their offense, this is a team that we could be talking about right up there with Seattle. I mean, this team is that good. When you watch them play Seattle, when you watch this game, you realize, man, these guys are really good. A lot of people enjoy watching Seattle play defense. I am one of them. But when you watch St. Louis play against Seattle, you understand that they have all the ingredients necessary. Outside of maybe the cornerback position, those corners aren't on par with the secondary of Seattle's. And I mean, you can take it a step further and say the safeties aren't on par either. That whole secondary just isn't up to par with Seattle. But that front seven, they're just as good as Seattle's front seven, if not better. I mean, they get the job done. And stands for a guy like Bobby Wagner. I think everybody on that Rams team is equal, if not greater than the sum of the Seattle Seahawks front seven parts. And they're a special group. This Rams, I like watching this Rams team play. And when you watch this game, you understand why Russell Wilson struggles against this team. You understand why this score was 6-0 at halftime, St. Louis on top. You understand why it is the Seattle Seahawks struggle with the Rams on an annual basis. And it's because of the athleticism that they present each and every single time they step on the football field. Russell Wilson wanted to get out of the pocket, and he tried to go left, and it was nowhere to go. He tried to go right, and there was nowhere to go. And so I'm going back left, and then there would be a safety coming out of nowhere, and he had nowhere to go. It's rare that you see Russell Wilson ball up into a shell and take a sack. Just give up on the play and say, you know what, I'm going to just fall down and just take this sack and cut my losses. I don't know if there's many times, I can count on one hand how many times he's pulled a Tony Romo or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady where you just curl up, all right, you got me, and just take a sack. But I saw him do that in this game, and my eyes almost didn't believe what I was seeing because he doesn't do that. There's not many times you can get Russell Wilson to give up on a play because he can always escape. He always feels like there's a backdoor exit somewhere where I can get myself out of this jam. Not against St. Louis, there's not. There's not an exit because there's always speed coming from somewhere. But despite all of their attempts to keep that Seattle Seahawks offense down, they just couldn't do enough to stop the Seahawks. And I'm going to talk about their Seahawks offense here in a second. But let's talk about how the Rams squandered some opportunities, and then we'll jump on the Seattle Seahawks bandwagon because they deserve a lot of credit for doing what they have done this season. And so quickly, I felt like the Rams had opportunities. Again, they need a quarterback. And I like Sean Hill, and he's a great backup quarterback. And I thought he made some plays in this game. You know, a couple of plays, I said, wow, Sean. Again, a lot of times we underrate his athleticism. He's been in the league for a long time. He isn't the most, fit quarterback. He doesn't have the look and the feel of a mobile quarterback. He didn't fit the mold of a guy that's supposed to be able to run around, especially at his age. Yet he runs around, he does enough to get away from the defense, and he can throw on the run. And he made some throws, but Sean Hill has deficiencies, which is why he's a backup quarterback. And he's not the guy that can lead you where you want to go. And you already know that. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. You need a quarterback. And I don't know if Sam Bradford is that guy or not. You don't know. No one knows. But I do know one thing. Sam Bradford is never healthy. Can you continue? Look, this team isn't going to be young forever. This team isn't going to have everybody under contract forever. At some point, you need to just turn the page and say, all right, we're going to try with, someone else. And you're not going to find that someone else in free agency. He's going to have to come via the draft. And so you got to do what you got to do to get that guy onto your football team. And so I'm not saying mortgage the future, but I am saying you got to do something. And I don't know who's in college football that can help you because honestly, the top two quarterbacks in this draft are the only quarterbacks that can really help you. And so maybe Sam Bradford is your best immediate option. We'll talk about that in the offseason, but there were opportunities in this game. I thought Trey Mason played well again. He almost broke a run, if not for a tackle by one of the Seahawks linebackers where he literally just stuck his hand out and almost had Velcro on it because he stuck to Trey Mason. I don't know how he was able to latch on to him because he was bursting through that hole, and if he would have got through that hole, probably would have been able to score. Sean Hill throws an interception to Jordan Hill, and you just say to yourself, wow, how do you do that? I mean, he's trying to throw the football away, and Jordan Hill makes an athletic play. And so, I mean, just too many mistakes on the part of the Rams. When you get in the red zone, you had another drop pass, and maybe it was a tough catch, but I need my athletic tight end, Jared Cook Jr., to catch the football in the end zone. I just do. And so, too many opportunities to score points and have to settle for field goals, or you turn the football over. And when you're playing against the Seattle Seahawks, that just can't happen. It's really simple, especially when you're in Seattle. Let's turn the page and talk about the NFC champion or NFC West champion Seattle Seahawks. And first things first, I like seeing the young fellas get involved, and that will make this team that much better moving into the postseason. I saw Jordan Norwood step up and make a huge catch. Man, P. Rich is coming of age right before our very eyes. The more reps he gets, the more opportunity he gets to make plays. He's starting to show you, I'm more than just a deep threat. I'm more than just a guy that can take the top off the defense. That catch that he had over Double J, Janoris Jenkins, was absolutely spectacular, and that's what you want to see more of from P. Rich. He goes up, climbs the ladder, comes down with the football. That's a big boy catch. That's usually reserved for 6'2" or better receivers, and he went up and plucked the football out of the air like he was supposed to do that. That's the type of play you want to see him continue to make. He had a couple of catches that were big that helped this team move the football down the field. He's starting to get it. And again, when you get guys like him and Jordan Norwood to continue to have an impact on this team, you add them to what you already had in Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse and all of those different types of guys. You sprinkle in a Ricardo Lockett, and all of a sudden, this Seahawks team has enough weapons to do damage come postseason time. You get the tight ends to step up, make some plays, and we've already seen the tight end position impact this division race in Arizona. So if you can continue to get this offense to mature, we know about Marshawn Lynch and what he brings to the table. This offensive line started to get better at the end of the game and open up some holes, and he was able to score a touchdown. His 17th, a career high for him of the season. And you saw this team start to gain momentum in the second half. They woke up after trailing at the half 6-0. They started to get into an offensive rhythm. Russell Wilson started to get into a rhythm because they had him off kilter in the first half. He was able to settle down, make some things happen, find some guys wide open, and they made plays. And so the defense started to come alive and start to generate some turnovers. I talked about the Jordan Hill pick. What an athletic play that was by Hill. He's starting to emerge as a force along that defensive line. Not only is he athletic, don't let the body fool you. That guy is extremely athletic. He's starting to get consistent pressure. Every time I watch Seattle Seahawks games, he's starting to jump off the screen at me. He made another screen eye-popping play on the interception. You don't see many 300-pounders doing that, diving for a pass that's intended for the ground and picking it off before it hits the ground. That's a special play. He seems to be a special player. And also, what can I say about Bobby Wagner? He's the heart and soul of this defense, I think, because when he was out of this lineup, this defense was not nearly as dominant. He comes back, and all of a sudden, they're the defense of last year that won the Super Bowl. He makes a huge play in this game. Rams throw a pass to one of their receivers. He hits them, jars the ball loose. It falls right into the waiting arms of Bruce Irvin. He gets down the sideline into the end zone, and that was literally the deafening blow that put this game away at 20-6. The Rams made one more feeble attempt at a score. They couldn't get in the end zone, and they were denied. They lose this football game 20-6. Do the Rams. They had opportunities. Benny Cunningham tried to get in the end zone. Great play. And this is why this defense is so good, because they make timely plays. They bend, but they never, ever break. And Earl Thomas comes over as Benny Cunningham is stretching the football out for the end zone, knocks it loose out of his hands. That's what makes a great defense. You're going to give up plays. All defenses give up plays. But it's the ones that make the timely plays, the ones that don't allow you to get into the end zone are the ones that usually are the great defenses. And this is a great defense that we're seeing in front of us in Seattle. They get it done 20-6, lock up the NFC West, lock up the #1 seed in the NFC. This team right now, they're playing some outstanding football on the defensive side of football. And I've already said this, if the offense ever hits its stride, if they ever get into a rhythm and a flow, and those young guys continue to play and have a role in the offense like they did in this game, this is going to be a hard team to beat in the NFC. And I'm telling you right now, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the NFC playoffs unfold, because this Seattle team, this Green Bay Packers team, the Dallas Cowboys, it's going to be fun. NFC is going to be fun. Detroit, this is going to be a really, really good playoffs this season. And leading the charge is this team in Seattle. They get it done again. Congratulations to them for wrapping up the NFC West after having a slow start to the season and kind of stumbling out of the blocks, adjusting to being the hunted and the marked team in the league. They made the adjustments, they got back on their horse, and they're now playing elite football once again. They get it done, finish up the season at 12-4. Rams gave it a run, had enough ammo to get it done. They just weren't accurate enough with their shots that they fired off in this game. And so they're not able to get it done. They finish the season at 6-10, do the St. Louis Rams. After having a legitimate shot at getting to 8-8, they fall to 6-10 on the season. do the St. Louis Rams. That's going to do it for Rams and Seahawks. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 17 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.